What's up, guys? Rob Cooney here. Today we're going to review an absolutely savage hand between Eric Hicks and Phil Hellmuth. Action starts off at 100-200 at Live at the Bike. Let's go ahead and get in the action. Action starts off with Eric Hicks under the gun, who decides to go ahead and limp, followed by Hellmuth in the hijack, who makes the 10x to 2,000.
Re-raise, 5,500. Heat 1, 5,500.
And Berkey with 8-6 of diamonds, putting in the cold 3-bet.
Re-raise from 2, 20,000.
And
Berkey goes for a very loose 3-bet, probably just targeting Phil Hellmuth, not thinking he's a very good deep stack, which, you know, over time he has proven not to be. And then Eric Hicks goes for the 4-bet very, very quickly. Now, keep in mind, this was like within 3 seconds of Berkey's 3-bet. So we have the initial raise to 10x, we have Berkey's 3-bet, and then we have the 4-bet by Eric Hicks very, very quickly. So all of this is obviously representing a lot of strength.
And there goes Eric with ace-king of diamonds. He's loving his hand. And Phil's got kings. And he just calls.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't either.
Now, playing 1,500 big blinds deep, this is not really a hand that you necessarily, there's really no hands you want to get in unless you can possibly get an aces, but you're not really ever going to get pocket kings in pre because you're just going to only get called by aces. If somebody stacks off 1,500 big blinds pre with ace king, then you're in a very good game, and perhaps Hicks does, but we don't know this. So Hellmuth does end up going for just the call, which I think is very normal.
You're watching the same thing I am.
Berkey's getting a decent price to crack these guys, but he's not super deep. I wonder if he's just going to fold.
Berkey's simply not deep enough, and you know both hands are just incredibly strong here. Recognizes that and folds.
And the big boys are going to go at it. Mad Genius versus Hellmuth. Oh, and Mad Genius flops the nuts. And Hellmuth's got an overpair. This is not going to end well for him. Mad Genius just thinking, how much can I get from this guy?
Accountant business in the Palisades?
20.
Where?
He bets 20. Phil's not going anywhere.
I need you.
He's not loving life, honestly, but he's not folding.
Call.
2 kings.
Eric makes it half pot or 20,000 under the gun, and Hellmuth just goes for the call. This is all very standard so far.
And the turn is an 8. Phil's going to stay around here unless something crazy happens. Mad Genius is just wondering, how much can I get from this guy?
That's like nice and convenient for you. Holy shit, that's like huge.
50 ball.
My husband almost opened his law firm down there, but he thought maybe people.
And Hellmuth is just getting chopped down like a tree in the olden days.
You know, he like kind
I
of.
can't see him folding to this bet. Eric's been pretty crazy.
Right.
We got like them.
He could have queens. He could just have an ace-king with a diamond. He could have a lot of hands.
It's actually really, really convenient. That's really
Can't see Phil folding the kings here.
The whole thing is the schools next door.
He's going to want to at least see a river in position.
The best
What if
thing
I have
ever.
2 red aces? Is that good?
10 seconds.
Or do you have drop?
Phil's in there. He's not going anywhere. And if this...
A little bit of speech play from Hellmuth saying, what if I have 2 red aces, when obviously he has kings. This could be to deter his opponent from betting the river. This is a very common practice I see a lot of veterans take. Just try to get a little bit more info from the, their villain in this hand, being Eric Hicks. To be honest, the turn is not that easy. I don't think Phil has like a high 5 trivial call. The thing is, if you think about Hicks's range, he's going to have hands like aces a lot. He's going to have hands like ace-king. Now, when he has ace-king, it's probably not going to be a hand like ace-king of spades because this is just a suicidal bluff. So if he does have a hand like, let's just say, ace-king with the ace or king of diamonds, kings is not looking that great because he can go 3 streets with his bluffs, especially if he has the ace of diamonds blocker. So you don't actually get to realize all of your equity unless you plan on calling all the rivers, which, most of the time I would assume you're not going to call every single river bet, depending on the board. So this is actually not that easy of a spot on the turn.
River is a brick.
This is the biggest pot I played in a long time.
It's a big pot, already almost 200,000 in there. And the river's another diamond, and this is going to save Phil. This is the lifeline he needed. He's not going to be happy. He's going to be in megatilt. He thinks he just got sucked out on. Meanwhile, he just got saved. $156,000 that he probably would have lost if this was. Is Eric looking Eric?
That very much, I will say, that very much looked like Eric checking there. I'm not sure what that was all about.
Check, but no, he's just thinking about it.
50,000.
And he bets 50 again, and oh man, he's just trying to milk him. But
Eric goes for the quarter
Hellmuth
pot.
can't beat anything now, and he knows it.
Oh my God, another one.
He's sure he just got sucked out on.
Now, I shouldn't really talk much strategy at this point. 4-card flush, already representing a lot of strength. The hand should be either dead on the turn or a snap fold on the river. I have no clue what Hellmuth is thinking. If I'm not trying to necessarily play the player in the spot. I'm trying to play the range in the spot. This is how I think about poker. This is how you should think about poker. I think going off of your gut feelings and this kind of stuff, especially when you're playing extremely deep cash games, is a very, very poor way to play poker. You should be thinking more in terms of what better hands do I have here? Well, you have a lot of flushes yourself. Perhaps you have a hand like Queen Jack suited, King Jack suited. You have Ace X of diamonds. You have all of these. You have a lot of better hands. So there's no decision here. I have no clue what's going on at this point. I have no clue why this hand hasn't ended.
And he calls. Oh my God, he pays it off. The magic.
And he calls the fourth pot. Look, yes, you don't have to be right very often when somebody bets a fourth pot. You have to be right like 20% of the time. However, you beat nothing. At what point do you think you're good on the river? Like, what are you praying for? The guy has queens, no diamond? Like, I have no clue what was going through Hellmuth's hand. But let's just go ahead and see his reaction after.
Genius with the perfect river sizing. Gets a 50 ball out of Hellmuth on the diamond river. This guy is incredible. And Hellmuth's done. He's done.
If I can't trap the crazy guy with ace king versus aces, I guess I'll just quit.
He's out of the game. A half an hour walk, comes back and loses a massive pot to the Mad Genius. And
I don't understand what he said. I can't trap the crazy guy with ace king to aces as if he had aces when he did not. And, I don't get what he was saying there. But then he promptly quits. And actually, I do think this is probably the right decision. Now, maybe he's doing it for the wrong reason, but I do think this is generally the right decision overall. One, if you think you're playing bad, I do not think you should ever play poker. I teach many students this. If you're not up to it, don't even play. Two, if you're mid-session, especially a cash game session, where you have the ability to quit and you just made a massive, massive mistake by simply just going, having a brain fart, you should also quit. And yes, this is a stream game, but Hellmuth does reserve the right to quit. Perhaps he recognizes that he just made a massive mistake, or he's simply tilted by Eric Hicks having ace king suited and his kings getting sucked out on. I don't know, but regardless, I do think it was actually smart to quit. So I'm not gonna go too hard on him for actually quitting a stream game, which generally you should play. I've played on a few stream games myself, and you should play the whole thing out. With that said, this is actually a very good lesson in poker, is quit when you feel like you are playing bad. And hopefully that's what Hellmuth was thinking. He did not feel like he was playing well, and he does end up quitting. What a hand, and what a terrible call.